Good Monday morning, everyone. Hope you're doing well so far. It's game day. It is game day. New Orleans Saints visiting our Seattle Seahawks. And however we may be feeling about this particular game, and I know how I'm feeling, and it's not terribly positive, there is a game. And we got to talk about it. So, first, obviously, game starts 5:15 my time. Should wrap up somewhere between 8:30 to 9. So obviously the post game video is going to get out late. You guys kind of know. We're kind of used to it by now, right? Because this is the third week in a row of a primetime game, which is really unfortunate for this team right now because the whole nation gets to see up close how dysfunctional we are. But yeah, look for the post game video 9 to 9:30, and then I'm gonna go live on stream probably sometime around 10. We'll go for an hour, and then I will go for another hour tomorrow evening. So that way everybody gets a chance to say what they want to say about this game, and everyone gets a chance to have a discussion about this game. And that's generally, in my experience, the best way to handle it during these primetime games because a lot of people, especially East Coasters, are long in bed by the time I'm able to get a post-game video up. So, now for this game, I don't have a lot to say about it. And what I do have to say about it is unfortunately not that positive. Obviously, we've lost a couple games in a row here. We're very limited in what we can do. And we're playing a Saints team that is, I don't want to go too far with it, but they're pretty good. They have had some impressive results so far this year. They've had a couple of pretty bad ones too. The worst you can say about them is that they're a little inconsistent. They have shown a propensity to really just mail in some of these games. So, hey, I don't want to say it's impossible, but they've had an extra week to prepare for this game. They had the bye week last week, so they've known for the last couple weeks that their next game was going to be against Geno Smith and this very limited Seahawks offense. So that is not filling me with a lot of confidence, and they have a very good defense anyway, and they know they're playing against this pathetic, toothless Seahawks defense that is having a hard time stopping much of anything. So you add it all up, and it's not looking very good. When I was looking at the Steelers game last week, I didn't think we were going to win, but I saw a pathway to victory, you know? I was looking at that game. I was thinking about the matchups. I was thinking about what Pittsburgh had done so far this year, and I said to myself, okay, we're probably going to lose, but I can see how we win this game. Pittsburgh's not that good. You know, they have a very weak offense. They have a bad offensive line. They don't have very good receivers right now. Their quarterback can't push the ball down the field. Their defense, it's good, but I saw the path to victory. It didn't happen, and I didn't think it would happen, but I understood there were ways in which we could win that game that wouldn't knock my socks off. This game, the only thing I can see is the Saints just no showing, which does happen, but I don't see the path to victory the way I saw it against the Steelers. This game, all I see is a team that is completely outmatched. They don't have Michael Thomas back on offense, which is significant, of course, because he probably would have gotten like 28 catches on us, just running endless slant pass patterns. They're missing one of their receivers, Daquan Harris or whatever his name is. They're getting a couple of their offensive linemen back though, and looking at this game before the season started, one of the things you would have figured you could have counted on is getting turnovers from Jameis Winston. And while that still somewhat applies, number one, he's actually been turning the ball over a little bit less as a Saint. It feels like you're not seeing that 40 turnover guy anymore. Like the last year in Tampa Bay where he had, 30 interceptions. So he's reined it in a little bit under Sean Payton and this new offense for him. And our defense, I'm sorry, I don't believe they're going to be able to do it anymore. I don't see nothing from this front that can generate enough pressure. The guys that we have out there, with the exception of Darrell Taylor, can't generate pressure on their own. And our blitzes, they, by and large, don't really work. And when they do work, they don't actually produce the ultimate desired result. 0 sacks on Ben Roethlisberger and 7 QB pressures is... embarrassment doesn't even describe it. So, with them getting their offensive lineman back, I just see Winston having plenty of time in the pocket to do what he needs to do. I see him being able to rein it in and avoid those turnover situations, because this defense is not going to make it hard for him. They're not going to make life hard for Jameis Winston. And I also see Kamara destroying us in the screen game and the running game. So, nothing good there. And as for our offense, in my head, I can kind of see this game playing out the way that the first half against Pittsburgh played out. Yeah, sorry guys. Sorry if you guys came here expecting me to be positive, but right now, the things I'm seeing in my head with this team are not good. I feel like you could see the first half Seahawks against the Steelers extended out the whole game, because this Saints defense is pretty solid. Yeah, they didn't play very well against the Giants, but it's a talented defense. They've got some good players. They've got Marshawn Lattimore, who they can throw at DK Metcalf. They've got some talent on that front seven. They're missing Peyton Turner, which is not insignificant, but they've got enough players behind him. Or, well, actually, he's behind a couple players himself. So they've got some good things going on over there on that defense, and we've seen how limited this offense is. And by the way, your best player from the Pittsburgh game, and the guy who gave you a shot of energy at the end of that game, or excuse me, well, the second half of that game, when it looked like you couldn't do anything, might not play. And if he does play, you know he's not going to be 100% himself. So, obviously, I'll keep a close eye on the active list leading up to kickoff to see who we have and who we don't have. But that was the best thing you had. Alex Collins out of the backfield, running the ball, maybe eventually getting involved in the screen game as well. That was the best thing you had going for you on the O. And the fact that you don't have that at 100% and you might not have that at all, it hurts. So, if you don't have your top 2 running backs, which is a possibility, you give the Saints the ultimate freedom to just go crazy with the blitzes and throw their resources at stopping Geno Smith from getting the ball to Metcalf and Lockett. And they have the corners to really limit our ability to get the ball to those guys as well. So, yeah, it does look pretty bleak. And I've already said my piece on Geno Smith. I do think he played well last week against Pittsburgh, and I do think he'll probably continue to play okay, even in this game against a good defense. But they're going to find ways to make life hard on him, and 1 or 2 turnovers could just bury whatever little chance this team has at winning this game. So, honestly, if we go this whole game and only score 3 points, I'm going to be like, yeah, I kind of felt that coming. So, this team is sending me all the way back to the Jim Mora Jr. year in terms of my mentality. So, here's what I'm going to say. I don't have a lot of hope that we can win this game. I have very little, actually. So, I'm not watching this game expecting to win. I hope we win. Of course, I'm going to get up tomorrow hoping for the game. I'm going to sit down for this game hoping that we find a way to win, or that the Saints just decide they didn't need to show up for this game and we can steal one. But I don't see any reason to believe it's going to happen. So here's what I am going to watch for tomorrow night, or excuse me, tonight. I want to see players who have a chance to be part of the next Seahawks team. Not this team. This team, it's not over, but the odds are really long, and I have no reason to believe in them right now. All I have in them would be blind faith, and I'm not a blind faith guy. Hope is not a strategy, unfortunately. If they were putting good results out on the field over and over again, and just getting unlucky in some of these losses, I would feel differently. That's kind of what happened in 2015. That's not really what's happening this year. So I want to see players who have a chance to be part of the next good Seahawks team. Maybe 2023 on, maybe 2024 on. How are they going to develop as this season goes on? Because in some ways, those guys are trying to audition. So just to start with the offense as an example, I'm not talking about Damian Lewis, who may not even play in this game. He's in the second year of a rookie contract. He's definitely going to get at least one more year, maybe 2 years, probably 2 years, to continue to develop and show whether or not he can be part of the next Seahawks team. DK Metcalf, same thing. We know how good DK is, and the only thing that can prevent him from being part of the next great Seahawks team would be his own desire to go somewhere else. I'm talking about Kyle Fuller. And I made jokes about Kyle Fuller nonstop when he got the starting job. I hated it. It was one of the few things the Seahawks did this offseason that earned my pure, abject, just disgust that that's the best you can do. Quietly, Kyle Fuller has become a tenable NFL player over the past couple weeks. He is playing better. He is playing passable football. And it's gotten to the point now where as we plan the future of this Seahawks team, it doesn't seem ridiculous to say that Kyle Fuller could be part of it, if not as a starter, then at least a quality backup. So I'm going to watch Kyle Fuller in this game, and I'm going to see, can you be part of the next great Seahawks team? Because guys like Dwayne Brown, no way. Brandon Shell, nah. Those guys, even if they play good, they can't be part of the future, but Kyle Fuller can. Defense, same thing. There are guys on this defense that we know are going to be given a chance to be part of the next good Seahawks team in a couple of years. Darrell Taylor, and now it looks like Trey Brown is probably on that list as well. We know those guys are going to get every opportunity to show that they belong on a great Seahawks team in the future. But if you look at a guy like Apuna Ford, who I know most people love, but he's not old by any stretch of the imagination, but he is now an NFL veteran. He's on that second contract. I want to see what he can do as this season goes on, because we're probably going to continue to play him at 3-tech, which is not his ideal position. We are probably going to continue to give him some opportunities to show whether or not he can develop more as a pass rusher. So can he justify keeping around for the second year of his contract and maybe beyond? Because it is totally possible that if the Seahawks decide to clean house and rebuild this offseason, Puna could be one and done. Puna could just be cut and shipped out of here or traded or whatever. It's definitely reasonable to imagine that, because even though we like him and even though he's certainly a good player, he's not Warren Sapp. He's not one of the greatest defensive tackles of all time. But if he can assert himself more as this season goes on, maybe he can be part of the future. Maybe you're also looking at a guy like a Jordan Brooks, who, because of his rookie contract, is probably going to stick around for a little while. But I'd like to see him start to show that he can do something well. Can he... We know he's weak in coverage, but can you at least develop more as a run stuffer, a run stopper? Maybe DJ Reed. I don't know if he can be part of any future plans, but I don't think he's played badly the last few games. I think he's actually played quite well in some of these games. I like some of the stuff that he's showing. If he can continue to play well as this season goes on, maybe your cornerback room doesn't look so bad going forward with Reed and Trey Brown. There are probably a couple other guys as well, a couple of those fringe guys who could be part of the future and could not be part of the future, and a lot of whether or not they will be or won't be depends on how they play this season. I want to keep an eye on those guys and see if they are showing they want to be here. Do you want to be here for the next Seahawks team that has a chance to be good? Because this team, they ain't it. This team ain't it. And I fully expect the Saints to win comfortably tomorrow. I just have, or tonight. I have to be honest about that. But can these guys prove they belong here going forward? And that's really what I have for this game. I'd like to tell you that I see a path to victory, but my only path to victory is the Saints no-showing, which they kind of did against the Giants, you could say. So it's not impossible, but they're coming off a bye week. They're well coached. They must have watched that game against Pittsburgh and seen how limited we are without Wilson, about how simple this offense is, how honestly simple to play against our defense is. That's been known for a while. So I just don't see very many good things happening. But I want to see some of these guys who are on the fence prove that you deserve to be here going forward. Prove that you're still improving. Guy like a Kyle Fuller, who started out this season, I thought he was the black sheep, but he's playing okay lately. Play better than okay. Start playing good, and then start playing very good. And maybe you can get to great, or maybe you're just going to be good, and then you can stick around as a backup. Like, well, what are you going to be? So that's what you can take from games like this. And that's the most positive I can be. There are some guys on this team who have potential and are young enough to be part of a future good Seahawks team. I don't believe this team is good. I don't believe this team can win. But hey, I will tune in, and I will sit down in front of this game tonight, and I will hope we play well. I will hope we find a way to win. I will hope that we can set ourselves up for a late season push, because look, this season really rests on this game as like a tipping point. You win this game, you're going to feel real good about getting to 4-4 before the bye week. 4-4 is not that bad. Yes, we have some tough games down the stretch, absolutely, but 4-4 is not that bad. But if you go 2-5, then not only are you going to start thinking about, can we even beat the Jaguars, which, by the way, you should be thinking about that, because don't assume anything with this very limited Seahawks team right now. You're going to be thinking about the fact that we're already in a 5-game hole in the division and a 4-game hole for the first wildcard spot. So at that point, you're probably thinking about fire sale, get some of these veterans out of here, get a little bit of draft capital. But if you win, you can go the other way completely with it. You can really realistically talk yourself into a playoff spot. We'll find out tonight. I will see you guys in the post-game video. I will see you guys in post-game stream. And hey, there's still a game to be played, no matter how ugly the end result might be. I think us fans, we still got to watch it. See you guys later. Go Hawks.